Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to our beloved examiners and supervisors. So for this VIVA presentation, we are going to present our research proposal entitled Grand Coalition, the Approach and Aftermath General Election 15. Throughout this research, Sir Tunku Nashril Tunku Abaidah has played a role as our supervisor and guide us doing this research. Before we go further, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Megat Mohamad Ikhwan bin Megat Zainal Abidin, student ID 2021100825. I am together with my research partner.
My name is Mohamad Luqmanul Hakim bin Azrin, student ID 2021125791. Without wasting any time, let's proceed to our presentation.
This VIVA will be divided into several parts, which is Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Without wasting our time, I will proceed with Chapter 1. As for background study, after the Sheraton move, there are some urge from Pakatan Harapan leaders to collab with other political parties and form a new coalition. According to Azura 2022, this urge came after the Port Dickson resolution on 2021 when PH agreed to have a talk with other political parties to form a new coalition to beat Barisan Nasional and Perikatan Nasional in General Election 15. PH didn't want the incident of state election in Malacca 2021 and Johor 2020 to happen again when they lost to BN coalition. And among the reasons is because of the disunification among opposition political parties in against PN. This can be seen when Warisan, Pejuang and Muda didn't want to collab with PH during that time, and this situation gave an advantage to Barisan Nasional Coalition to make an election and gain two-third majority in State Assembly Malacca and Johor. According to Nora 2022, some leaders in PH can't accept the idea Grand Coalition consists PH with other political parties after the incident Sheraton move. Hence, this research will analyze the approach and aftermath General Election 15 to see whether the Grand Coalition idea will be implemented before or after the GE-15. For the problem statement, coalition is common thing happens in politics all around the world. According to Wong 2018, coalition can be defined as collaboration among political parties for a particular purpose, usually for a limited time, or a government that is formed in this way. The coalition can be happen before or after the election. In Malaysian context, since our first general election, the coalition among political parties happened before the election. This is to make sure that the coalition can gain enough seats of parliament to form a government. In other countries such as UK, New Zealand and Ireland who practice Westminster system also, the coalition among political parties happened after the election. This is because there is no political parties gain enough seats to form a government. Hence, a new coalition must be formed to form a stable government according to Wong 2020. According to Sophie 2022, in Malaysia, coalitions are extremely significant since the plurality voting system necessitates finding allies. Hence, there are three main aim studies of this research which are explain the nature of party system in Malaysia, analyze how PH dealt with other political parties before and after the GE-15, and examine whether PH success to form Grand Coalition to form a government after the GE-15. These are our research objective and research question. There are 4 RO for this research. First RO is regarding analyze the approach of PH members regarding Grand Coalition with other political parties. Second is to evaluate the benefit of Grand Coalition among political parties. Third, to identify whether the idea of Grand Coalition among political parties outside PH have same goals and objectives. And fourth is to evaluate whether PH will form a Grand Coalition with other political parties after the General Election 15 to form the government. For Chapter 2 regarding literature review, these are the subpoints under the LR. First is we look into history regarding British intervention into Malaysia and how Malaysia towards the independent. According to Alini 2012, the approaches taken by British to form a Malayan Union after Japanese surrender has caused a chaos and unsatisfied from people in Malay Peninsula. Hence, British surrender and gave an autonomous to people in Malay Peninsula determine their own style of administration. Later on, first general election had been held in 1955 to elect those who will govern the government. BN success form a government and they rule government for almost 60 years without loss in every election. According to Houston 2018, the coalition among UMNO, MCA and MIC have created a stable and strong central government. This BN coalition became more stronger after the incident 30th May riot with the joining from other political parties consist of Sabah and Sarawak. Later on, we also looked at historic coalition in Malaysian politics. According to Wong 2018, the BN dominance in Malaysian politics has urged opposition parties to unify in one coalition and beat BN coalition. The existence of opposition coalitions such as Angkatan Pepada Ummah, Gagasan Rakyat, Barisan Alternatif, Pakatan Rakyat and Pakatan Harapan has brought some impact towards BN coalition. But the differences of ideologies have caused some of this coalition didn't survive, according to Wong 2018. Later on, the differences of ideology, custom, self-interest, party interest, and so on are among situations that led to the political conflicts among members, according to Mazlan et al. 2040. We found out two main factors weakness of coalition political parties, which are different ideologies among political parties and the leadership of Anwar Ibrahim to harmony and play a role as glue to combine all opposition parties, according to Jam 2020. And last is regarding Malaysian contemporary political scenario. Pakatan Harapan agrees to collaborate with other opposition parties if the other parties agree with the agenda and reform of politics, according to Pakaran 2021. The idea such as Big Ten has been introduced. According to Oliver 2021, in UK, Conservative Party collabed with the Liberal Democrat Party after the GE-2010 to form a government. Hence, Malaysia also can become like other countries where there is no coalition gain enough majority seat in GE-15. Hence, a new coalition must be formed to form a government. Next, we look on theoretical framework. According to Stromberg 2014, theoretical framework drives the question, guides the types of methods for data collection and analysis, informs the discussion of the finding, and reveals the subjective of the researcher. Hence, for our research, we use Lichpart theory. This theory is related with the situation of Malaysian politics regarding coalition among political parties. Every party can collab if they share same objectives and goals and agree on the distribution of the payoff benefits received when obtaining the goal. If coalition politics is successful, it may be able to dramatically change the power balance and help the coalition members to successfully resist threats or make effective counter threats, according to Fuzi 2007. For the Chapter 3 on research methodology, we use qualitative approach for our research. According to Caliber 2019, qualitative research allows us to develop an understanding of the people's belief, experiences, behavior, and interactions. It didn't involve numerical data. For the unit analysis, we focus on those members of PH who have authority and a party to make a decision in Northern Region State. For the sample size, we have 10 respondents, which consists 5 members from Amanah, 3 members from PKR, and 2 members from the AP. For the sampling technique, we use purposive sampling. The reason why we use purposive sampling is because we want to focus in depth on relatively small samples. The purposive sample is the identification and selection of information-rich cases related to the phenomenon of interest. And for our case, it's the case of Grand Coalition, the approach and aftermath GE-15. For the data collection, we provided questionnaire to our respondent before and after GE-15. It consists of 5 questions in Malay and English. The interview handled in face-to-face, and we also collect data and information from secondary sources such as articles and news.
Now, we proceed to Chapter 4 and 5, which are findings, discussion, and analysis. For the findings and discussion, we are focusing on 4 research objectives. For research objective 1, it is about to analyze the approach of Pakatan Harapan members regarding Grand Coalition. It is about we want to know what approach used by PH in the Grand Coalition, and this question might be answered by considering the answers from some of our respondents. For example, the answer from YB Muhammad Azrin, he stated that the approach must be taken with diplomacy action in ensuring other parties will be able to collab with PH. Based on another respondent, which is Zulkifli bin Wan Ibrahim, he stated that if there is collaboration with other parties, they can attract more voters, especially from Malay communities. Some of the answers from the respondents shows that there are quite common answers, which is in line with Pakatan Harapan itself, that prioritizing in consolidation measures. For the research objective 2, it is to evaluate the benefit of Grand Coalition among political parties. Based on answer from Muhammad Rashidi Khalid, he said that the alliance among political parties can ensure the victory for PH or Pakatan Harapan. Ko Hugh Im stated her opinion that having a coalition can create unity among people. These two statements from different respondents are interrelated, as Mohamad Rashidi said that the voters are coming from multiple races. Unity among the people can be achieved through coalition. Based on their answers, it can be concluded that they have a common opinion which showing that coalition are important or having benefits regarding unity among people. Research Objective 3. It is to identify whether the idea of grand coalition among political parties outside PH has same goals and objective. YB Muhammad Asmirul agrees that shared the same goals with other political parties, while YB Dr. Ismail Saleh also shared the same opinion or answer. It is concluded that these respondents agree that other political parties are having the same goals and objective with PH. This is in line with the light heart theory, which stated that the agreement regarding goal and objective are important to form a government. Lastly is the research objective 4, which is to evaluate whether PH will form a grand coalition with other political parties after the GE-15 to form the government. We got the answers for this one by collecting the responses from our respondents and also other sources such as the secondary source, which is news. The third element of the light heart theory are fulfilled, whereas it stated that engage in conscious communication concerning the goals and the means. Next is the research limitations and recommendations. These two things are interrelated, as the recommendations from the researchers seems to be able to solve the limitations during conducting the case study. The limitations are regarding small size sample for data collection in terms of geographical area and also time consuming. And further recommendations are increase the resources for data collection, expand the geographical area, and also prepare a good time management. For the conclusion, our presentation today are actually having the intention to create a better understanding regarding our case study of Grand Coalition, the approach and aftermath of General Election 15 or GE-15. This presentation concludes all contents in the written report. It makes the case study to be more understandable in a more simple way.